G'day lovely people, welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. I'll be Nat, this will be my Knackers Yard, and this will be Klaus, the big K1200 LT. Beautiful day, beautiful day, and I do hope to take the missus out on this later. We now have our helmet intercom thingies set together, so that'll make communicating considerably easier. It has been I'll find a way of turning it off. I'm being rude for effect. Now the one bit that Klaus doesn't have that I've got very used to on Ivan. Klaus, Otto, Ivan, there's a theme developing here, it's not intentional, is my cameras. So, because that is my commute bike, I do obviously have my helmet camera on the majority of the time. Battery life, etc. isn't reliable enough, and that's the advantage of a rear. The quality's okay, but more importantly, I don't have to think about it. It just records over itself. So I know that if anything happens, I will have up-to-date footage of it at the time. It's under my seat. I don't have the unit on display because that will make it even more stealable. It's just stashed away and it's discreet. Obviously you can see what it is if you're looking for it, and they're not hidden cameras. Let's have a look around the front. It's not quite so obvious around the front. Nicely tucked away, you know. It's not hidden, it's not, that's not the point. It's just there for my, I don't want to say safety, put me in a happy mental place, because I know that somebody is watching me, and it's somebody I want, i.e. me. So I've bought the same for the K1200. Just started to fit. I was really exploring, because routing the wires, etc., I don't really want to have to strip the entire engine down or the fairing off, etc. So I grabbed a bit of garden wire, went for a bit of pokey. I've kept it nice and high around the fairing. Yeah. So I'm not against things what are too hot. And I found a route to the front, which is always going to be difficult. Now, let's have a look at the unit itself. Let me get you set up so you can see better. Alright, there you go, set up on my trusty workbench, aka my bins. So that's the one I got. Let me just tell you what, I'll screenshot it. It's probably a better way of doing it. It reckons it's 1080, it's not, but it's good enough. Reckons it's full HD, again it's not, but it's good enough. I think it's the same as the other one. They are fairly ubiquitous on the Bay of E. So you've got the tiny screen unit, yeah, it looks the same as the other one. Tiny screen unit with the stand on it. The stickies are actually pretty good on these. So it's designed to come down from something onto something, which is the most ridiculous design in the world, to be honest, because bikes don't have that, they have that. But anyway, that's an aside. I'll throw that under the seat more than anything else. With it you get front camera, dot pointing out what's top and bottom. Rear camera, now these are different definition, pixels, whatever. Resolution, that's the word I was looking for. And the power unit, all NAS. Now the power on my bike is a bit screwed, so it's got a fault on the, well, we think on the radio. So effectively, it doesn't. When you turn off and take the key out, the system is still live. So I do have a battery remote control battery isolator, so I'm less concerned about what I connect it to because the bike gets turned off complete each time. This has all sorts of settings, so it can have like rumble settings, so it turns on when the bike gets moved, etc, etc. But first things first, the most awkward one out of the lot is going to be the front camera. The particularly good thing about this, if I remember correctly, is that the cables are really quite long, so I should be able to reach from the front of Klaus to the seat with relative ease. Now what I'm going to try to do is affix this to that wire that I've pushed through, and then just pull through that cable to the side, hopefully without undoing that one en route. That's quite a good joint. What I might do is just stick some tape around that to help it hold while I'm pulling through, because it'd be very annoying if I get most of the way there and it breaks. So let's try, see what happens. Aha! I didn't film it because I wasn't expecting it to work. And it worked. So I pulled the wire through. I realised that I pulled it through the wrong bit, which is a bit silly. So I pulled it through the indicator hole. But effectively, if I tuck my bad boy back through there, try not to snag the indicator wire, which I haven't. Right, now I just need to work out where this cable goes. I think something like that. Let me get rid of the rest of that slack. Like I say, cables are nice and long. Right, done. Front camera now. Right, let's have a look at the back camera and get that squared away. Okay, so looking at the rear camera, all this Timex wall. Oops. Now I did consider something like that, but that's going to vibrate like a muddy funster. I thought about somewhere like that, but actually I've got a really nice ledge up there. I'm not sure if you can see that. Can you see above the? What are you pointing at? Oh, it's bright. I can barely see my camera. No, you can't. There we go. Yeah, looking a bit higher. So what I can do, I think, is go for something like that, or something like that. Idiot boy. Chuck your keys on the floor, now you lose them. Right, so let me just make sure that that's not going to impede. I think I'm good. I might go slightly to one side so my gloves don't catch it rather than keep it central. Yeah, I think that's probably better, because obviously when I do that, half the time I'm going to be wearing my gloves. Yeah, so I think slightly to one side like that. See, bent up a little bit. Job's a fish. Right, let me just check cable clearance. Again, this would be a lot easier to do if I strip the bike down more, but I really don't want to. I don't wanna. Yeah, easy peasy. Right, I might grab my wire again, see if I can feed it round an edge, get it round to the other side. I won't film that, it's dull. Okay, so next, power. I've got miles of it, a cable which I just do not need. Now rather than coil it all up, I've stripped back to see what I've got, and essentially it's two cores that go into the actual battery connection. So what I'm going to do is snip short. It's got a fuse in it, so I'll keep that, but I'll snip short, snip short, snip short, snip short, and then reconnect, and hopefully end up with probably about 30 centimeters worth of cable, as opposed to what, 1.5 meters, maybe 2. Right, there we go. 30 centimeters ish. Okay, and there we go. That's the front camera stuck up. The dot is the top, not the bottom. So I had to spin it around because I was upside down to start with. Ditto with the rear. I had to undo the bolts at the back and stick that back on, but it's nice and intrusive. The actual unit, I've just been playing through the settings. I'm not going to show you playing through settings because it doesn't really come across particularly well, but effectively you change resolution, cyclic recording. I've still got it set to 5 minutes. It'll do 5 minutes and then record over itself. Normal recording, date stamp, yeah, that's going to die each time it turns off, so not worth doing. Gravity sensing, apparently, if it changes or if it gets shaken heavily, i.e. an incident, it specifically records it as an SOS and makes it easy to find. Parking guard is going to need power to do anything like that, and my power's slightly screwed on that, so I've turned it off. There we go. So, and we'll get out of the menu. Right, let's get it. I'll get you set up so that you can actually see it operating. So I can turn off the power to the bike. That's running off battery power for the moment. Right, let me get you out the menu and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, and there we go, all tucked away. If I connect my battery, it flips straight in and starts recording. I can't show you the screen, it's just too bright, but essentially I've got a picture-in-picture of rear and front. And when I turn it off, it takes a few seconds. Right, and we're all good. Right, I will be taking the missus out in a bit. I'll chuck some footage up from it then so you can see the quality. Like I say, it's not great, but if it catches a license plate, it's good enough for me. I'll do me. Alright, and let's go out for a bit of a Sunday cruise, and we'll test out this camera when I get back, see what the quality or lack thereof is. Now, like I say, it's a dash cam. It's in case of incident rather than it's vlogging or anything like that. They're pretty bad unless you want to spend a lot of money, and frankly I don't. I don't feel the need to spend a lot of money on it. When you get something that's like cheap and cheerful and works, then have it cheap and cheerful that works is my view. While we're out, I'm going to talk about another vlogger or another biker or another YouTuber. I don't want to say influencer because I bloody hate that phrase. Slobo Lobo. You know who you are. Now, his channel is quite new, well, newer than mine, and he's doing really well. I think he's just hit his 2,000 mark, which is pretty good shit. Where's my bloody... There, my visor. There we go. Yeah, which is good stuff. His channel's, you know, basically the other way around for mine. Waiting on a colour you like, dickhead? Get off your phone. Yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, so he does a lot more stuff like this than I do, and a lot less tinkering than I do, although I haven't done a lot of that recently, if you know what I'm saying. He talks a lot more than I do. He talks a lot more bollocks than I do. And speaking of talking bollocks, his editing is brilliant. It's a lot better than mine. A lot better. So he manages to tag people when he talks about people, and I'm going to have to work out how to do that because I need to do it with his, because he was responsible for scaring me, for getting me concerned in the week when I saw I'd been tagged and animated in his video with some funky sunglasses. I was in his video and he was singing my theme tune, and it is catchy, I'll admit that. It's nothing special, nothing I commissioned or anything. It is just straight from YouTube. from YouTube Studio. I can't remember what it's called, but I've used it for ages. I did try a different one to freshen up my channel, and literally everyone went no. So I put it back in, and it's now pretty much stuck. It's now my tune. Yeah, and he was saying how he was catching up on videos and yada, and I thought that's pretty cool. Why have you called this Royal Enfield sellouts or something like that? And he went on to rant about No, it was a rant. He went on to bitch. That's a better way of putting it, Slobo. He went on to bitch about channels that have Royal Enfields as their second bikes because they're not good enough to have as your own bike or your single bike. And how people had sold out and done it basically because they'd been given the bike. And I was thinking, where do I come into this? No one's given me a freaking bike. I've bought all of mine. I've broken a lot of them. Some of them I've fixed. And it wasn't. He just rambled on then about it. So despite being tagged in a video called a Royal Enfield sellout, it had fuck all to do with me being a sellout, or indeed accusing me of being a sellout. Oh, I thought that was, what a cheeky bastard, trading off my good name for likes, the bastard. So anyway, now his channel's becoming more and more popular. I'm going to tag him and try and trade off his. Right, enough of that. Slobo, you're a dick. Funny dick, but you're a dick, and I'm telling you nothing you don't know, or indeed confess frequently. I don't need to go around manhole covers in this thing, it just cruises over the top. Yeah, so let's try uploading some video. I'm not going to try and sync it because that's going to be really tricky, but I'll see if I can get a stretch marked by following this, whatever it is in front of me, another Tutbaka. And we'll see what the quality is like. I've got nobody behind me to really check the rear camera. It's probably a bad idea. Let me cruise on for a bit, and I'll see if I can get somebody on the back as well, so you're not just looking at an empty thing without focus snat. It's not being distracted by pretty ladies not wearing very much because it's hot. And yes, she was. It's such a penis. Oh, now my fob from my keys is covering my gear indicator, which is annoying because I really like the gear indicator on this. There we go. He's a bit of a pussy, or whatever he's riding. Should have gone right round that. I don't know what it is. I'm only really out for a bit of a bimblette, just as an excuse. You may notice it's quiet on the back for two reasons. One, my wife's microphone doesn't get picked up by my GoPro, and for two, she's not on it. I did try and get her on it. This is heard went, it's a bit hot. So I do have a pillion that refuses to go out if it's wet, but also refuses to go out if it's hot. So I kind of don't have a pillion. Sorry babe, but it's true.